gang. Today we're going to do the Chords to Easy by the Commodores, something that's been requested a couple times since I did the solo to that song in a video maybe a couple years ago. You can check that out up here. What's interesting or different about this, and I think is kind of hard, are two things. One is it's in a weird key, and I think that's basically because of the second thing, which is this is really a piano and vocal song. So we're going to play the chords. We're going to do them in two different ways. One is we're going to learn the chords as if there were not a piano and you're playing the guitar as the main rhythm instrument. And the second thing is we'll think about what are some of the fills you could play if you were the guitar and piano was there, and you don't want to step all over the piano. You want to play sparse things. So we'll cover both of those things. All right. Hey, as always, gang, if you like the video, click the like button, and if you haven't yet, subscribe for one of these every week. All right, see you in just a second. All right, gang, let's go over this in some detail. Now, I've heard some people do this, and they do it kind of with open chords, and well, that's okay. You know, you got an acoustic, you're playing by campfire, it's going to be fine. But to me and to my ears, it's not quite right, and there's two reasons why. The first reason is that using open chords, like transposing it down to G and using open chords, makes it sound like a folk song, which this is not a folk song, all right? That's the first thing. And the second thing to me is that you're not going to be able to, because it's in open chords, think about it, at the end of it, it transposes up a half step. You remember that? They go up, they do a key change. And you can't do that so easily if you're using open chords to go to, say, G sharp. But it's child's play if you're doing it in a closed position to go up a fret. So we're going to learn this in closed position. All right, so let's start out with the full chords, and we'll do it that way. Now, I'm going to start it out in G because I think it's going to be easier for you to learn, for us to learn it together in G, and then we'll transpose it up to G sharp. Okay, so we'll just do this for the first and the main part, and then we'll do the other part, like the bridge and the end of the chorus, a little bit differently. Okay, so first things first. So let's imagine that we're playing it in G, not G sharp. The first chord would be a G. We start out on a G. And you heard me hitting some bass notes. I'm trying to imitate the piano there a little bit, if I can. So it starts out in G, B minor 7th, A minor 7th. And now here's a trick from gospel playing, and that is, instead of using the 4 chord, we're going to use the, instead of using the 5 chord, we're going to use a 4 chord with a 5 in the bass, and it gives it sort of a hanging feel. So we're going to play, instead of the C or the D, we're going to play a C with a D in the bass. So it goes like this. B minor 7th, A minor 7th, C with D in the bass. Now you can play it here, or you can play it up here at the 10th, play it at the 5th or the 10th. This uses this form of the C, and we're just putting a D in the bass. And this uses this form of the C. We're just putting a D in the bass. Okay. Another chord that works really well, instead of playing that, I think that chord works great. I love how that sounds, that suspended sound. Another way of doing it is to play literally a suspended 7th. So it normally would be a D 7th, but instead of playing that, you suspend the 7th by playing, or you suspend it by playing this note right here on the 7th, 2nd string, up a fret. Okay, so it sounds like this. Alright, so to think about that, you just play your D 7th up here on the with the root on the 5th. And you take your 2nd string and move it up a half step or 1 fret to the 8th. And you can hear how that's really going to resolve nicely to that G. Okay, so those are 2 different ways that you can play that main opening part. Like this. Let's now transpose this up to G sharp. So instead of playing G, you would play G sharp. That would be your first chord. C minor 7th. B flat minor 7th. And then a C sharp with a D sharp in the bass. All right. So I'm not sure why I always called this B flat. I guess I should call this A sharp if I'm using sharps throughout my discussion. Anyway, it seems to me this is always B flat to me. All right, so that works, as well as G sharp, C minor 7th, B flat minor 7th, D sharp, suspended 7th. All right, so that's what it is transposed up to G sharp. All right, so it's a little bit different. We're going to do it a little bit differently in the chorus. At the end of the chorus, it goes like this. Okay, so what are those chords? Those chords are, first chord is the one that's a little bit out, and that's just an F sharp. Okay, and then we're going to walk down. This is a C sharp with an F in the bass, and then an F sharp, or I'm sorry, a C sharp with a D sharp in the bass, and then back to your G sharp. All right, so it's like this. One more time slowly. F sharp, C sharp with an F in the bass, C sharp with a D sharp in the bass, and G sharp. All right, the last part is the bridge. The bridge is a little bit funky. We're going to start out with this. This is I wanna be high. So that starts out, there's 3 of these guys, and these guys are, we're going to start out with a, let's see, a F sharp major 7th chord. That's that chord right there. Then we're going to go to a G sharp minor 7th. I'm sorry, not a G sharp minor 7th, an F minor 7th, and a D sharp minor 7th. Okay. Again, that's an F sharp major 7th to an F minor 7th, D sharp minor 7th. Do that 3 times. And then the end part, to get out of it, is a B, F sharp, goes to the guitar solo, which is in the normal chords. G sharp. And that's the song. At the very end, it transposes from a G sharp to an A, from G sharp to the key of A, but that's, again, that's child's play. You just keep the same pattern. So it would be A to a C sharp minor 7th, B minor 7th, a D with an E in the bass. All right, so that's it for the chords. Okay, now I'm going to play a backing track and show you some of the things that you can do if you're accompanying with a full band. Some of the fills that you can put in to make it sound good and fun, and how to lay back a little bit, let the singer and the piano player take over the song as it's meant to be. All right, so going to definitely play it very straight the first couple times through. After that, I'm going to play more fills than are appropriate, but that's really just to give you an idea of what you can do, okay? So here we go. So that's just an idea to give you, an idea of what you can do. You notice the first time through I played very sparsely with just really thwack chords, right? And I'm playing mostly triads on the 4, 3, and 2 strings. So here's a G sharp triad, a D sharp triad, and a C sharp triad. I played that mostly, and I played on the hanging one. Here's our D sharp 7th suspended. Played that. Okay? And usually just a thwack or two. All right. What are some of the fills that you can do? Well, you heard me play a couple of these. Those are fourths, and you can check out a lesson up here on fourths. I also played some of these. Right, some of those. Those are sixths. You can check out a lesson on sixths up here. And finally, some other things I was doing, and these are fills. Those are sort of Hendrix chord fills, if you will, and that you can check out. I did a lesson not too long ago on those right here. So anyway, those are just some things that you can do to keep it a little bit interesting for you so you don't fall asleep playing 3 chords. And that's about it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, gang, and we'll see you on down the road.